If I see some shit like that happen, then all right, bro. Like I'm taking a step back. Like I want my fault for caring. My fault. My fault for caring. Shit, I gotta remember, bro. It's 2024 going on to 2025. We in the age of the internet, bro. Yeah, my fault for caring, bro. Shit. And then it's funny because then when you don't care, then that's when people want to act up. It's like, nigga, when I tried to care, your ass didn't care. And now when I don't care, you care. Hypocrisy. Hip fucking hypocrisy. Like, ain't that shit crazy, gang? Like, ain't that shit crazy, bro?
Nigga wanna fight now? Coming down and shine like a lighthouse. Pull up, walking, everybody yell like, watch out. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe out.
Yo, what's going on with y'all folks? So I had something I actually really wanted to talk about. What brought up me wanting to talk about this? Kind of a few things, honestly. And this is something that I've been thinking about for the past few days. And it's one of those things that can be brought up in multiple different areas of conversation or just in different aspects of life. And it's something that, you know, that we can either catch ourselves doing as it's happening, or something that is just kind of bound to happen over time without us even realizing. But it's something that I feel like we can all think about and try to learn from and try to prevent. I feel like this specific thing can eventually lead to self-destruction, corruption within, you know, like your relationships with other people, with yourself, and just, you know, your future, other things to come in your life. You know, and like I said, that this does have different areas that you could implement this, or that you could, you know, see this happening. Most of the time, honestly, like, because we're all humans, most of the time we don't mean to do this, or we don't catch ourselves doing this, or like I said, it just kind of happens over time without us even realizing, because, you know, we're people. We're always changing. Like, we're literally always changing. I mean, unless you just, you know, I feel like this is something people should look more into, see what areas of their life that could try to prevent this from happening, or what they could do specifically to try to prevent this from happening. The thing that brought this video up for me, mostly because I feel like people don't treat others the way they want to be treated. And I feel like, you know, it kind of goes without saying, like, it's something that we've always heard growing up. Like, we've always heard this growing up. Treat people the way you want to be treated, you know? But I feel like, honestly, like, as I'm getting older, I feel like it's like, just looking back on most of these sayings I heard when I was younger and just never really thoroughly looked into it, I feel like some of these things they're looked over. Like, they really are. They're genuinely just looked over. I think they're also kind of blown out of proportion, like out of the original proportion that they're meant to be understood as. You feel me? So when I bring up the old saying always heard growing up, treat people the way you want to be treated, or like another one, sharing is caring, right? Like, these are all things that we've heard growing up. But, you know, and then obviously when you hear these sayings, so for the sharing is caring, you know, you've heard that millions of times. But obviously whenever you hear, like, when you're a young nigga, let's say, you know, it's lunchtime, right? Like, let's say it's lunchtime, you brought your damn Lunchables, or you got your damn Capri Sun, you got your damn Oreos and shit, you know, your Skittles, you got some type of good ass snack, right? And then your homeboy pulls up and he's giving you that damn look, and you already know this fat ass nigga's about to ask you for some of that shit, and he damn puts out his hand and he's like, hey bro, sharing is caring, and you sitting there like, nigga, well, I don't care, you know, like shit like that, like shit like that. Like, I feel like some of these old sayings, like, you know, yeah, we kind of throw them around as a joke, like, yeah, like, I don't give a fuck, like, this my shit, like, I don't give a fuck. But I feel like we should look back on these sayings now that we're older and more mature, more life experience, because I feel like we shouldn't go into life thinking this type of way. And I also feel like people shouldn't try to, like, I just feel like people should look more into these old sayings. Don't overplay the saying, you know, like, don't overplay the meaning of, like, these words. You feel me? Don't overplay them and don't underplay them. That's the biggest thing. Like, don't underplay them, because, you know, sharing is caring. That's a real thing, bro. Like, that's actually some real shit. When someone's saying sharing is caring, like, nigga, like, that doesn't just mean, like, if you got some food, like, nigga, I'm hungry. Like, that's kind of like the joke part of the, you know, like with these sayings, people take the joke aspect of it, or they mostly hear it in the midst of a joke or something, like, when obviously the motherfucker saying the saying, they just want something from you. I feel like that is what underplays these sayings. And that's kind of what makes people, you know, eventually grow up in life not understanding the true value of what these sayings have behind them. You feel me? So, you know, one of them, yeah, sharing is caring, that's actually very serious, because sharing is caring. I saw recently that there was this guy, I can't remember what organization it was, but he was like the CEO of a company, and he was making like his yearly salary was like $1.1 million, but he's the CEO, and I guess he didn't want, like, low-key humble with it. Like, he low-key was humble with it, and his staff was getting, like, his staff's yearly wage was like $40,000, right, which isn't really that much. So what he did, you know, he analyzed himself, and he was like, you know, he's making $1.1 million yearly, and you know, his workers pretty much, I mean, some of them dedicated their lives to the job that he, you know, to his shit, right? So, you know, he was like, fuck that, you know, everyone's getting a salary raise to $70,000 plus yearly, like every worker. And in order to do that, he lowered his own yearly salary to 70, you know, to the same as his workers. But because he did that, you know, it brought in more people, it brought in more workers. The workers, their family lives were healthier. They were able to spend more times with their family, buy things for their family, especially in this economy now. Like, inflation's crazy, my nigga. Like, he did something that most people wouldn't do, and I feel like that's a big aspect of sharing is caring. And like, it's funny because he got more benefits out of that for his company than if he was to just say fuck, like, you know, fuck them niggas, like, I'm just gonna keep my $1.1 million yearly salary. His company drastically grew bigger. He got more people to work for him. His workers have a healthier family relationship, and after all these great changes, the workers, they all came together, and you know, they chipped in some money, like, because of how appreciative they were for him doing like that big of an act. They all chipped in some money and bought him like I think it was like a Tesla or something. Like, they all chipped in and bought him like a car. I mean, obviously, you know, I'm pretty sure nigga making $1.1 million yearly salary, they don't need it. You feel me? Like, it just kind of goes to show sharing is caring. And it's one of those sayings that's really underplayed. Like, it really is underplayed because we've only heard this as a kid in moments where someone's just trying to be greedy. So I feel like in those instances, we just took sayings like this as granted, and you know, we don't really look into these as seriously as we should, and we don't implement this into our lives as seriously as we should. And this kind of leads into what I genuinely wanted to talk about. It's treat people the way you want to be treated. You know, it's treat people the way you want to be treated. And before I even talk about this, we all, you know, you listening to this video and, you know, me talking right now, whether if you know me in real life, you know, regardless or not, I just want to say this right now. Let's just have a base understanding when it comes to hypocrisy. Like I said, sometimes it's something that we don't mean to do. Sometimes it just like, we're people, you know. When I'm 12 years old and I say, oh, I'm never gonna do drugs, but then I'm fucking 22 smoking a fucking fat ass blunt, like, you feel me? Like, that's hypocrisy. Like, that's like, nigga, that's like 10 years of when I said that shit, right? You know, so sometimes these things are just bound to happen, right? Like, sometimes these things are just bound to happen because we're always evolving as people. Like, we're always, our mental is always changing. Like, everything about us is just evolving and always changing. Like I said, you're not the same nigga unless you just you know, a goofball ass nigga. You're not the same nigga as you were yesterday, as you were last week, as you were a month ago, as you were last year. I hope some of y'all niggas aren't the same nigga as you were last year. Treating people the way you want to be treated kind of does go without saying, but then again, it is one of those things that's just always been, I feel like, underplayed since we were, you know, since we were younger. Like, it's always one of those things that's been massively underplayed. I feel like people expect more than they give out. Yep, think about that. I'm gonna say that one more time. I feel like people expect more than what they give out, and that's real. You can't expect, you know, like, I feel like there's a what's the law? The law of equivalence. Like, whatever you put out, the same energy in one way or another will return to you. That's just how I feel. The energy you put out will, in one shape, way, or form, come back to you. That's karma. That's karma. You know, I believe in karma. I really kind of I do. I believe in karma, and you know, because that also plays into treating people the way you want to be treated. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like, I don't know, I kind of feel like low-key, as we were younger, whenever we heard the saying, treat people the way you want to be treated, I don't know, this is just, I don't know if other people can agree with me on this, but, you know, like, just like how people were like, oh, sharing is caring, well, I don't give a fuck, you can starve, my nigga. Like, how that saying, like, you know, you would make a joke out of it in that way. I feel like people kind of made the same joke out of treat people you want to be treated, kind of, you know, because I feel like when you were younger, like, you heard people say treat people the way you want to be treated, you're kind of just in your head thinking, oh, well, I want to be treated like royalty. I want to be treated like, no, nigga. Like, first of all, No. Like, no one expects you to treat them like royalty. Like, that's not what people are saying, bro. Like, what people are saying is just treat people with decency, treat people with respect, and not just people you know, but also just people you don't know. Like, I do that every day. When I go to Moe's and get my damn burrito, I say, please, thank you, you know, may I please have some cilantro lime rice, may I please have white chicken, may I please have black bean. Like, I treat everybody, whether I know them or not, regardless, with respect. I look them in the eyes, I say, thank you very much, have a good rest of your day. Oh, how's your day going? I make sure I say good morning to people, you know, like when I go to CVS to pick up some of my medications or whatever, I'm out, by the way, good morning, how's your day going? You know, like, just treat people with basic decency. Like, you don't have to treat motherfuckers or royalty. Now, you know, I feel like that's just one of the things, like, how these sayings just go like under and overplayed, you know. And I feel like we should reevaluate these sayings, because I mean, these are just two of the ones that came off the dome, but there's so many that we can just reevaluate now that we're all older and just look at and just be like, yo, like this is some real shit. Like, this is some real shit. And like I said, don't try to think of it like, nigga, if you want to be treated like royalty, I mean, you're gonna have to put in some fucking work, nigga. Like, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like, I'm not, you know, like you gotta have to be deserving of that, and it depends on who you want. You feel me? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not treating a random nigga like royalty because I expect them to treat me like royalty. You feel me? Like, I just want to be treated with some decency, whether you know me regardless or not, and you should expect me to treat you with some decency. It just goes without saying. And, you know, like I said before, there are different aspects to all of these different things. So, you know, the main one for me is I just feel like people don't, I don't know, I feel like people just, like I said, I feel like people expect more than they give out. So, what do I mean by that? I think I gotta be kind of careful with how I say this. So, let's say I'm just heavy on that. People just expect more than what they put out. So let's say for example you want other people to, you know, care for you, check up on you. You want other people to genuinely be concerned and ask you questions and like get to know, like stuff like that. Then I feel like you have to do the same. You know, I mean, that kind of, some of these things just kind of goes without saying, but I feel like I have to speak about this because sometimes people act like they know that this goes without saying, but they don't implement it, which is hypocrisy. Like people act like, or it's either they act like it and they just, it's either like, I don't know. So I feel like sometimes people just try to put up this front just to save themselves from embarrassment. Like, I feel like that's what it really is. Like, I feel like people don't want to embarrass themselves, or they just don't want to look stupid. It's not necessarily looking stupid, it's just, you know, like, sometimes a nigga just trying to tell you what's up, like, not out of shame or not out of, but just because, you know, nigga just trying to make sure you know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, I feel like genuinely people just do not put out, like, if you want to receive something, you have to put it out into the world also. Like, that's literally the law of equivalence, bro. Like, you can't expect something that you're not getting, like, you can't expect something in return that you're not even really putting out yourself, unless you just get lucky. I mean, that's just, you know, life is crazy. You don't know what's gonna happen in life. Like, sometimes some things could just pop up in life and it just, you know, just happen. But I don't know, I feel like for some people, they just try to act like they know what's up, and they really like they try to act like they know that they're gonna I think I gotta give an example. Let's say somebody is sick, or let's say someone has like a sore throat. They're trying to help their sore throat. Let's just say they think that drinking water is gonna help. I'm pretty sure drinking water is gonna help, but you know, there's other things that are gonna help better. So, you know, you being the homie, or, you know, the parent or sibling or whatever your relationship is to that person, you're gonna be like, oh, you know, if you get like a tablespoon of honey and, you know, you swallow it every day, then that'll help your sore throat. Or if you go get a cough drop, you know, that'll help. And then, you know, they're probably gonna sit there and be like, oh yeah, I know that, but then they don't do it. They still just continue to go drink some fucking water. Like, it's like they either don't want to listen to what you said, or they just don't give a, like, it's, I don't know, I feel like there's two aspects to this. Like, I feel like people just, I genuinely don't know. Like, I feel like people are just kind of assholes sometimes too. Like, I feel like that's also just a thing. It's like, why would you not, you feel me? Like, why would you not just do what makes the most sense? Or like, why would you continue to, like, do this when obviously this will help more? You're acting like you know that this is better, but you don't do it. And I feel like if you knew that this was better, you would have done this shit off the jump, but no, you didn't. Instead, you're gonna sit here and act like because I'm telling you about it, you're gonna sit here and act like you already knew of it, or that you're already doing it, but you're not doing it, my nigga. Like, you're not doing it. You're just saying you are to save yourself from the embarrassment. It's like you don't want someone to try to tell you, like, it's not even like someone trying to tell, like, it's just a nigga trying to help you out, bro. Like, that's all it is. It's like you don't want to accept the help, or you just think you know, like I mean, you can think you know whatever, but at the end of the day, someone just trying to give you, like, someone just trying to help a nigga out, bro. Like, you know, and I feel like they're only trying to help you out because that's a part of, you know, caring. Like, that's a part of caring. But then some of these motherfuckers act like they don't want to be cared for, but then, you know, when their throat is more sore the next day, and then they're like, oh, someone please help me. It's like, nigga, I tried to tell you what's up, bro. Like, you still ain't take a tablespoon of honey, you still ain't eat the damn cough drop, and now you want to sit here acting like motherfuckers don't care. Like, bro, like, I tried, like, you trying to, like, you try to sit here act like you already knew what's up when you didn't, because I see you're not doing it. So it's either you know what's up and you're just not doing it because I brought it up now, or you're not doing it because you just want to be an asshole. Like, I can't, like, I'm genuinely sitting here trying to think of, like, what the reason is, but I think people are just assholes. Like, I genuinely just think that's what it is sometimes. Like, it's probably not that all the time, but I think a good 65% of the time people are just assholes, or they just don't want to hear it from you specifically, which is like, all right, bro, that's cool. Like, you know, that's cool. It's whatever. Like I care, but if I see some shit like that happen, then all right, bro, like, I'm taking a step back. Like, you know, I want my fault for caring. My fault. My fault for caring. Shit, I gotta remember, bro, it's 2024 going on to 2025. We in the age of the internet, bro. Yeah, my fault for caring, bro. Shit. And then it's funny because then when you don't care, then that's when people want to act up. It's like, nigga, when I tried to care, your ass didn't care, and now when I don't care, you care. Hypocrisy. Fucking hypocrisy. Like, ain't that shit crazy, gang? Like, ain't that shit crazy, bro? That shit's crazy as hell. Like, I never understood that. Like, I never understood that shit. And it's funny because, like, people watching this video, they could probably sit here and be like, oh, Randy, like, there's been instances where you've done this too. Nigga, it was probably over a fucking video game. Calm down, bitch. Like, it was probably over a goddamn 2D pixel video game, nigga. Calm your ass down. I'm obviously gonna, like, unless you're telling me, like, some shit's gonna drastically raise my stats, or unless you're telling me, like, bro, like, if it's a video game, shut the fuck up. Like, respectfully. Cause, I mean, most of y'all niggas really only know me from the game, bro. So it's like, obviously, I'm gonna do my own thing when it comes to the game, because I just love it. I love figuring shit out on my own in games. Like, unless I ask you about some shit, and, you know, you can give me a pointer, here or there, but, you know, like, I'm gonna listen to what you have to say respectfully. I'm most likely not going to do it, because if it's a video game, I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do, and I'm gonna fuck around and find out, because it's a video game. It's not real life, nigga. So I don't want to hear anybody trying to be like, oh, Randy, you do this, nigga. It's a fucking video game. Shut the fuck up. Like, shut the hell up, nigga. Like, you don't know me, bro. I just feel like that's the, you know, it's a different type of thing. Like, I feel like it's just a whole different type of thing, and I feel like people just need to put out the energy that they want to receive as well. Like, I really do. And I'm coming off with good intent. Like, I'm not trying to, you know, I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. I'm not talking about anyone specifically. Nothing. This is just something that's kind of been on my mind for the past, like, week or two, because, you know, as I get older and as I see new things and experience new things, I just notice that I just look back on the past a lot. Like, I really do. I look back on the past a lot to see, like, I do a lot of self-reflecting. Like, I do a lot of self-reflecting when I have time to myself, and this is one of the few things that I have self-reflected on. Just, you know, old sayings like, treat people the way you want to be treated, sharing is caring, like these little things. And because of me self-reflecting on these things, I realize these sayings are either overplayed or drastically underplayed, to the point where we don't, you know, we act like we implement these things, but, you know, some people just really don't, or we don't truly understand the value of these words. You know, I feel like that's really the biggest thing about this whole thing. I just kind of wanted to get that off my chest a little bit, you know, because I feel like as people, like I said, we're always evolving, we're always changing. We're not the same as we were a week, a year ago, a months ago. Like, we're not, you know, we're always changing. And with this, you know, with this topic, this is something that even without trying is bound to happen. You know, it's nobody's fault. Like, it's just bound to happen, bro. So, like, I'm not here to point fingers. I'm not here to get on anybody's ass. None of that shit, bro. We don't point fingers and make fun of people around here. I'm just here to just let people know to, you know, just to stay alert you know, just to, you know, keep the eyes peeled and just be aware. You know, I'm just trying to let people know to be aware of these things, because it's one thing if, you know, if you're not aware that, you know, you're being a hypocrite and you just keep doing it, then I'm not gonna hold you, bro. I'm gonna let you know. Like, that's just the type of nigga I am. Like, I'm just gonna let you know, and I expect other people to let me know if it's like in a drastic situation, like if it's in a drastic situation. But if it's like some little shit, then I mean, you know, I can see why some people will kind of just overlook it or not notice it because it's something very small. Like the example I said, like, nigga, if I'm 12 years old saying I'll never smoke, like, if it's some little, if it's like a little, I don't know, if it's like a little example or something. Like I said, these things, some of these things are just bound to happen. We're people, we make mistakes. Life happens, things happen, and it's okay. But there's also different levels to hypocrisy. Your level of understanding of the value of these words. There's 4 types of hypocrisy. There's blame, inconsistency, complacency, and pretense. And I feel like the biggest one that people have a problem with is blame and inconsistency. I do have a little bit of problem with some inconsistency, but I feel like this is something that, you know, like these are things that, like, you know, I wasn't aware of this before, but I did some self-evaluation, and, you know, there's different ways of people being aware of this stuff. You either have someone fuck around and tell you, but like I said, you got to be careful when someone try to, because you got to be careful when you try to tell people or you try to make people aware of shit, because they try to act like they're already aware, but then they're not. Like, they just like to pretend so that they can save themselves from embarrassment. You know, people don't like to be quote unquote embarrassed or act like they don't know what you're talking about. Like, it's like, nigga, just calm down, bro. Like, I don't give a fuck if, like, I'm just trying to let you know, bro. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, save your pride, bro. For me, I know inconsistency is my biggest hypocrisy, and that's the one I did some self-evaluation on and that I'm currently working on doing. But I feel like 85% of people, their biggest one is blame. People love to blame other people for their problems. People love to do it. I see it not just in people in my age group. I see this in adults, my nigga. Like, I'm talking motherfuckers 40 years old, 50 years old, bro. Bro, niggas love to, not even niggas, like, just people, well, I ain't gonna lie, that's another topic for another day, bro. I ain't even gonna hold you. That's another topic for another day. That video right there might literally just be titled niggas. I ain't gonna hold you. That's another video for another day. But people love to blame other people when really it's themselves. And like I said, people expect more than they give out. So don't be expecting people to treat you a certain way when you're not treating them a certain way. Don't expect people to care when you're not caring. Or don't try to, like, when someone's letting you know, don't try to act like you already know, but then you're not doing it. People love to blame, people love to pretend and act. Nigga, bro, people just be fake nowadays. Like, people really just be fake nowadays. And that's cool, bro, but don't be fake around me, because I'll get on your bitch ass. On God, we not fake around here. We keep it 100. We keep it a stack. We keep it a bean around here, my nigga. That's on gang. Fuck all that. Fuck you talking about. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up. I feel like, you know, most of these things kind of, you know, I don't want to get too in detail with these. I feel like I've already gotten detailed enough with these, but this is something that I kind of just want everyone watching this video to, you know, look at these words and see how this, you know, applies to you in your life. You know, take what I said into consideration for yourself. I want you to sit here and think about what I said and think, do I underplay these words or do I overplay these words? Do I treat people the way I want to be treated? You know, have I thought this saying the same way, like, when I was younger? Like, did I think of this saying the same way when I was younger? You know, like, stuff like that. Like, I just want people to self-evaluate on hypocrisy, and I want people to, you know, because like I said, this is the last time I'm saying this, it's not like nobody's perfect, bro. Nobody's perfect, and I'm not making this video to try to, you know, get people to try to be perfect. That's not my goal with this video. I just want to, 1, get this off my chest, and 2, to try to make, you know, some people aware of possibly why they're not getting what they want in return, because, you know, you're not putting out the same type of energy that you want back in return. Like, it's karma, bro. You really, you know, and I feel like if you're on the other end of that, I feel like for me personally, the big reason, another reason why I'm making this video is because I'm gonna just end it off on this. For me personally, I love asking about other people because I know that other people love to talk about themselves, but I'm okay with that because, you know, I get to know more about you, and I think it's I genuinely think it's interesting trying to get to know other people. Like, I genuinely do. Like, I really do. Like, I will go, like I said in my last video, that's why I think I'm very unique and different when it comes to whenever I stream, because I will genuinely ask, you know, people questions. I would genuinely try to get to know them all this shit. Like I got first dibs on trying to get to know you, bro. I got first dibs on that shit. But me, you know, if you're like that, if you know anyone that kind of is like that also, you have to be careful with that, because some people just love to talk, like I said, people love to talk about themselves, but they won't ask about you. So if you are one of those people who, you know, you're just always asking about other people, trying to get to know them, but you know they're not returning the energy, like that's cool, bro. Like it's okay, but just know I'm gonna take a step back after that, because you know I expect, like I feel like I said, the law of equivalence. Like I feel like if I'm putting my energy into trying to get to know you, you should in one way, shape, or form try to get to know me as well. I feel like that's just the balance. Like it shouldn't be one-sided, you feel me? And that's personally my biggest problem. I try to get to know a lot of people, but I notice that some people sometimes don't try to get to know me, and you know I'm cool with that. Like sometimes I'm cool with that, like it's whatever. But at the same time, it's mostly like, you know, like if you try to throw hints out at people, you talk about them a lot, and then you kind of throw out a hint to see, like, or if I feel like if people aren't balancing out the conversation, then you know I'll be like, okay, so they're not balancing it out, so I'll just throw out a hint, you know, like I'll throw out a hint of something that I got going on. I'll wait a couple seconds to see, you know, if they ask me about that. And I notice for the most part, some of these people, they don't ask, like they don't ask about the little hint that I threw out. So like I low-key I kind of just cut conversation after that. Like I kind of just stay to myself after that, because I'm just like, all right, bro, like you're not balancing out the conversation. Like I'm not really expecting much when it comes to a conversation. I'm just expecting a balance, which is, you know, how a conversation should be. It should be balanced. It shouldn't be one-sided. It shouldn't be one person asking another more questions than, or like, you know, or you know, you guys are just chilling, it's whatever. But I feel like conversations should be balanced, and I notice that if my conversations aren't balanced, I'm taking a step back, and eventually it might lead to, you know, cutting some people off, because I just don't like that shit, you know. Like I'm giving my energy and time into trying to get to know you, and you're not doing the same. It needs to be balanced. Law of equivalence. These are some things for everyone here to think about, just kind of consider, and I hope that we're always changing. I hope that y'all are always changing for the better. I know life is crazy, I know things happen, you know, but the goal is to always change for the better. Some things, you know, I know people prefer to not be self-aware about, because yeah, depending on what it is, like if you're ignorant about a certain thing, then I can agree you will be happier. But at the same time, I feel like some things you just, you know, some people just have to be aware about, you know. Treat people the way you want to be treated, care the way you want to be cared about, give out the same type of energy that you want in return, and keep everything balanced. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I appreciate your time. If you want to continue this conversation, I would love to continue it. Maybe if you have any type of, I want to know, like, I only thought of two sayings. So if you have another saying relating to this, then drop it in the comments, because then that'll help me think about it myself, and then that'll help me self-evaluate, you know? Like I'm so serious. If you have another saying that just came to your head while watching this video, please drop it in the comments. I'm so serious, because it'll help not just me, but it'll help other people that watch the video and read the comments, you know, get other people to self-evaluate and be like, oh, I didn't think of that saying, or be like, oh yeah, I forgot about this one. How does this implement, or how did I think about this when I was younger versus how I think about it now that I'm older, you know? Like, so genuinely, if you thought of another saying that just over or underplayed, drop it in the comments, because it'll help not only me but other people that watch the video. So but yeah, I appreciate you guys' time. You guys have a good rest of your day. You know, stay hydrated, eat some good food, get some good rest, all that. And yeah, this is my first video after my changes video. It's funny how my first video after changes is hypocrisy. It's kind of funny, I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of funny. But you know, we gotta rolling though. We gotta rolling, just like how I said, you know, we getting it rolling. So yeah, I appreciate you guys' time. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll catch y'all folks later.